What is up, everybody? Okay. London time. Although we gotta do the hunting quest first. We'll stick with the 1 to 3 star count as always. Let's see. Is Lancer today. How good is a 3-star level 70 Bedivere gonna do here? We will give him... I guess Ryoto Temple again. Just kind of makes sense if we're gonna use 3-star craft. Why am I using 3-star craft distances, by the way? Like, I mean, they're terrible. Like, why am I doing this? Ay, ay, ay. Alright, well, got him slotted. We've beaten all of these so far, but I think our luck is gonna run out momentarily. Okay. Is Siegfried even worth bringing? Probably. You know, I don't actually mind leveling up a little bit now because now we're at London and I feel like it's okay if I level up a bit for London. How's the Arknights grind? I mean, it's not really a grind because, one, I don't really care about, like, farming in that game. And two, when you, like, farm the event, you can just auto everything. So, hasn't been, that bad. I'm only, my account level in Arknights, though, is only level 50. So that tells you how little I've played it. Well, there's people that are, like, 150. I'll probably stream Arknights again at some point. If I unlock the Dante's Prison Tower event, does it come with repeatable, or do I have to crash the app? You have to crash the app. Anytime you beat one of the stages, it's gone forever. So basically just go through it, grab the rewards until you get to the one you want to keep, and then yeah, you gotta close the app. Which sucks, but you know, welcome to FGO. Let me see here. Trying to remember how high you have to upgrade Siegfried to actually unlock his upgrades. I'm gonna look that up actually, because I don't remember. It's been quite a while since I've leveled him on an account. Let's see, so he's got his one interlude, which doesn't unlock anything. His second interlude does. That requires second ascension bond 4. So I can probably already do that if I want to. Actually, that one doesn't unlock anything either. Yeah, dude has 2 interludes and neither of them unlock anything, but then he has 2 strengthening quests, and those unlock his upgraded 3rd skill and upgraded NP. So let's see, the first one requires 4th ascension, no bond, so I can't do that one. And the other one requires 4th ascension, so I can't do either of those. So you're not getting those anytime soon. Feels bad. Guess I'll just keep them at 50 for now. What are we gonna use for London? Well, I need to start working on archers just for Gwaine. We're not actually that far away from Gwaine, to be honest, so we don't want to get carried, which we do not. I have to get, like, I mean, Robin is a pick, obviously Uriel, but I'm not doing that. And if I do Robin, you can do Mozart. If I don't do Robin, I do, like, David. I could do Chen Gong. I wonder, could we make David work as our main DPS? That'd be interesting. So I need archer statues if I want to do that. I might. We'll see. As for London, though, there's a fight with a demon pillar. There's the Tesla fight. This will be fun. Honestly, we don't have a lot of the mats to level up much anyway, and it'll be kind of fun at this power range, I feel like. Could level Protoku, but I might wait for now. See how he does. Might level skills, though. Alright, well, let's fight the hunting quest. Hey, Arjuna. Free stuff. I guess I need seeds. Thinking, I mean, I don't mind using Cope Scope for these stages because they're a lot harder. That's probably fine. Do this. Last second evade, nah. Oh, this is a desperate team right here. Okay, I kind of want to level Hans' second skill. Just so I can use his NP easily. Let me see what the mats are. It's not a bad investment to level Hans. It's not like you're wasting the gems, but I might want to level Qin Gong first. I wouldn't have enough to level it that much anyway, so we'll just wait for now. At some point, I'm going to have to actually farm on this account because they're not doing events. Right, we haven't had an event in so long in FGO, so if I want to get some basic bitch stuff like statues or whatever, I'm going to have to farm the old-fashioned way, but I'd rather not. What do we give Mash? Do I have the Rin 4-star one? I do not. Alright, well, I guess we'll go with that then. Off we go. Since an Achilles costume was confirmed, that means Raid Up is also coming out, probably. You know, we could roll for Achilles, but we already have... Back on my regular ult account, right, the one I play the most, and it's actually rather upgraded. You know, I got Achilles back in the day, and I just kept saving up on that account, and every time he was rated up, I rolled on him again and again, and over time I got NP5 Achilles. So I feel like it'd be kind of silly to get Achilles again. However, it would be a really good unit to work with Stheno, right, absolutely. I don't know what we'll do on this account. It'd be nice to just grab random shit that I don't have on my main account just to goof off with. But at the same time, you want to actually have units that are usable with Stheno, so it's kind of complicated. Let's see if George can actually live for a couple of turns here. Do I battery? Yeah, I'll just battery, right. Level 1! Oh, God. We're getting fairly far into the account reviews. We're still at, like, you know, the first 3 days of people sending them in, but we're pretty far along. We'll be able to open them up again fairly soon, I think. I hope we get to the point where they're not sent in as frequently. That way, I can put more focus on the ones that I do, right? And I try to not phone them in at all, but that's why I don't do too many per stream. But also, they're nice to just do every once in a while. Right now, I kind of have to do them every day because 1, there's absolutely no FGO content right now, and 2, because if I don't, we're gonna never catch up. But I figure once a lot of the regulars have sent their accounts in, it'll probably stabilize a good bit. Okay, what am I doing here? That ought to work. So Tsukihime came out today. So it's kind of a shit show with the whole no PC version and then DMCAing everything ever and so on and so forth. Kind of glad I'm not much of a Tsukihime fan because it doesn't look great with how they're handling it. I almost want to NP right now. I think I'll wait though. I mean, we'll let people send their accounts back in, like if they want to have an update and stuff, and so that's fine. It's just time, right? It might be hard to line it up. trying to think. Maybe I keep that one alive. I want to get NP gain, but I also don't want to waste damage. Do that. Our damage is so low! 3-star craft essences, please! God, and you can't even... I really need to level up, like, the black keys to max level, because then you have, like, 1,000 or 800 attack or whatever, and at least something. It's better than this nonsense. I almost need to NP, because I can't... Look at how many NP ups this thing has. Oh, fuck it, I'll do it. Please kill. What's the play here? I really want Hans' NP, but I want to make sure I have enough damage. 28k. He's NP 1 level 50. Dude, I'm like struggling over here with rainbow dragons. 30k, okay, I could have done whatever I wanted there. Wish I had Hans's third skill. Alright, well there's Bedivir's NP. I don't know if I want to cast it here or not though. It might depend on my next hand. It really is insane though. This is probably the longest amount of time FGO is gone without getting a new challenge quest. They normally get one every month, sometimes more than that. But we have gone about 4 months without a new challenge quest. It's almost half a year, man. Like, what the hell is that? Obviously, we lost Belt 6, and there were good boss fights there, but it's not exactly the same thing as new challenge quests. Also, you know, lures. You know, lures are nice. We did get those in the Nerofest rerun, but, still, we need so many now. 100k. Bedivere has NP gain on the next hand. Can I do 100k in 3 turns? Kinda iffy. I think I gotta hold on to it though. The next wave is gonna be nastier. That was what was stupid, is that giant... Like, that's so much wait time in between each part of Lost Belt 6. And the thing is, Lost Belt 6 did not... I'm sorry, like, it's an excuse. Lost Belt 6 did not add enough stuff on DW's side that they actually needed that time. When you look at the amount of trash mobs it added, and the amount of bosses, the stuff that DW handles, right? Because the writing was already done. There was not writing being done between those time blocks. There wasn't. Like, in that interview, Nasu said the writing was done a while ago. So they didn't need those time gates. That was just arbitrary to, like, you know, spread out content, spread out the hype, so on and so forth. And even with those time locks, it's not like they added a whole bunch of new mobs and a whole bunch of new, you know, boss models and stuff. And they added some, sure, but no more than they normally do for any other main story. So, and yeah, but it was still spread out over such an insane amount of time. And then we just had the Nerofest rerun. And that's it, right? We're just sitting around, not even bothering to do a main interlude. Hey, reskin Dragon Mob took 3 weeks for dev number 4. Yeah, right. I would hope not. Alright, let's see. Do I bother to heal Hans? Gets his second skill back in 2 turns. If I was using his cards and he could use this and instantly NP again, I think I would heal him, but I am not doing that, so I'm thinking no. Part of me wanted to art chain there, because then Siegfried would get pretty far along, but I want to do damage. I'd like this guy to die next turn. 8k. Hans, don't take all of the cards. Give me a Bedivere Buster card. There we go. Okay, we're looking alright. Yeah, if anything, earlier, like not for Lost Belt 6, because they'd already announced the shutdown of Sakura Wars by then, but earlier I wouldn't have been surprised if some of the stalling was because of Sakura Wars. Okay, that Berserker is actually pretty annoying. I almost want to NP the Berserker because it's the one that's going to do all the damage. The thing is, oh man, this is iffy. This is so much damage right here that it's not worth it to hit the 95k one, but that Berserker could potentially just shred us. Not confident this is the right play. Also, my music is not on random. Okay. Oh my god, we didn't kill Ku, Alter, Nini. And yep, that Berserker. What's the play here? Mad NP gain, that's what? Get like 5. Oh boy. Dude, that thing is... it's just like the one from yesterday. Like, if that was a crit, that about have ended us right there. Oh, this is not good. I need Hans to die so I can get support for Bedivere. Oh my god! Okay, that's actually good. That's not... Holy shit. We might lose. Oh, we might fucking lose. This is actually the boss theme of the stick, apparently. Okay, I can battery Bedivere some. If I can probably charm Ku Alter there. I can kill him next turn then. Shit. They had to give it the danger tag, didn't they? Please hit Mash. I wish Mash had her taunt. If I land the drain, I could actually kill Ku Alter later still. Nope. Okay, killing him now. I was hoping to get Bedivire's art card and do overkill on the Ku Alter. I'm also hoping the dragon gets 2 actions per turn here. Not fucking 8k! Okay, sure. I like how the other 2 would have survived it, but now you hit Stheno. God damn. Okay, the dragon is the one that got 2 actions per turn, so that's something. If I have to NP the stick, I should be auto-attacking the dragon. We get our defense up next turn. That helps. Bedivere is trying. No debuff, that's good. Okay, probably should have NP'd the stick first. It is a real problem. I think we got this. Bedivere is not a Dragon Slayer. I mean, give him a second. Okay, that's super dead. Okay, I think we got this. As long as Bedivere doesn't get like double crit here. Although we might kill it right now. We got 40-40 on crit. Very nice. Okay. Oh my god, what a shit show. I think we're done with hunting quests now. Fucking Christ. If I ever wanted to farm these on this account, I would summon like an actual support with not a 3-star craft essence. Mana prisms though. Yeah, I think that's the last of them. Oh yeah, what are these again? I forgot. I think they're friend related. Either that or clearing certain singularities or something. Not that much of a reward, but if it's free, I might as well do it. Okay, before we do London, we'll do an account review. Yeah, I could see them doing the Bedivere animation update on NA early because of the movies. Alright, we got... Vishi? Vishi? I'll bring their account up in just a second here. Yeah, London is not the best. It has some okay boss fights though when you're underprepared, and we are very underprepared. Alright, what do we got here? Almost 1-year-old account. I only started leveling responsibly 2 or 3 months ago. Only started leveling responsibly. I wonder what that entails for earlier on. The most problems I have is with Assassin. That's pretty common because there's no good budget caster DPS. Asclepius wasn't very kind to me, so is there anyone who can somewhat fulfill his role? Not really. I mean, it's pretty much not common units anyway. There's units that are rare that can fill his role, but it's pretty much Martha and Medea Lily. That's the only remotely reasonable units that can replace what he does, because they're 4 stars, so they're not limited. Though Medea Lily is story locked, I think. So Martha's the most common one you might have. But we'll see what you got. You can always level regular Medea because that's a anti-debuff, but it's nothing like Asclepius. My priorities with this account are to make Scath OP enough to kill Sabers. You're gonna want to summon OP supports for that. Then please recommend supports for her. I mean. You're NA, I think. So for NA, it's just Waver and Scatty. Like, that's pretty much it. And then your budget stuff, like Hans, David, Alex. But for, yeah, big boy supports, I guess Wu. Wu's good, actually, if you happen to have her or get a chance at her. But, yeah, Wu and Summer Scath. Yeah, right. But, yeah, I'd say Wu, Scatty, Waver are the obvious ones. And then for budget, you know, Mash, David, Ons, that kind of stuff. Get Scatty Summer Scath as soon as they release her again. Oh boy, you gotta wait for a main interlude on that one. I don't know if there ever a main interlude Summer 1 because it's not that popular of an event, but who knows? I mean, if they were like other games, they would do it, but F-go. Is there any good ways to get servants gold orbs? What is gold orbs? I don't know. Do you mean lures? If you mean lures, like to get your skills to 10, then that's like beating challenge quests and events and stuff. If you mean rare prisms, it's burning gold servants you don't like, or completing reruns of welfare events. So for example, if you do, let's say you got, what's a recent welfare on NA? I guess that Lancer one, the Crazy Eyes Lancer chick, you know, Guda. So if you, Hogasai, there we go. So let's say you got Hogasai right now, and then next year when they rerun it, and you got Hogasai again, you'll get a bunch of rare prisms and with the Hogasai. So that's another way to get rare prisms. But yeah, if you mean lures, it's mostly from clearing events or beating challenge quests. And if you mean rare prisms, it's burning gold servants that you don't want, and occasionally they're given out for event rewards and stuff like that. Also, please recommend good team comps. I have a hard time coming up with Ultra Galaxy Brain team setups. Like I always say, I can't really give team comp advice because team comp advice is almost exclusive to what you're doing, right? I need to know, like, are you farming? Are you fighting a challenge quest? What kind of challenge quest is it? You know, I can give advice on, like, you know, what are good supports to use in general, what good units work well together, but rarely is there universal advice for team comps. It's so specific to, like, what does this boss do? Is it an AoE boss? Is it a single target boss? I give some basic tips though. Taunts, like St. George and Leonidas, you know, taunt walls. Units that can target someone else with taunt, like Kuritsugu, stuff like that. Any kind of taunt is extra good if the boss is a single target Noble Phantasm. They're still good if they're AoE, but they're less good. But taunts are super good against single target bosses. Mash is an example. And then David is good always, but he's super good against, you know, AoE bosses. Same for Merlin, things like that. But yeah, it just really depends on what the hell you're doing. Yeah, 25 Benkei, yeah, unironically. Alright, so MP2 is good Civ. I'm wondering if he means Hokusai or if he means like Bedivere. I have the Gold Sabers. Gold Saber stars for 2 for her second skill. Wait, what? The wording on this is strange. It's worth it or best to give it to Hokusai. I think he means he has 2 lures. And luring Hokusai is fine. She would not be my first pick though. Depends on your other slots. But you might have lures. If you only have 2 lures, you might want to save them for your supports, things like that. But it depends. Oh yeah, there's Attila. I'm guessing that's what he means. MP2. Oh, that's what he means. Attila is the MP2. And if you're asking, Attila is not worth giving lures to right now. I could just tell you right now, Attila is just, you know, she's fine, but what she does is mostly for farming and stuff, and you can do that at 999, so she's still not worth it. Okay, so you're really, though, pushed on Sabers. Like, my god, you literally have Attila and Hokusai, and that's it. Thankfully, Attila is good enough for AoE. She's not like she's not a great 5-star, but she's solid and good. You know, all 5 stars have good stats and stuff. So, then Hokusai is a good single target, although she lacks survivability. At some point, I would level Bedivere, and if your Bedivere is NP1, I would level Caesar instead. But you don't necessarily have to rush. If in the meantime, you know, Hokusai and Attila can get a lot done, but that you are very limited on Sabers there. Let's see, so your Art and Buster, so I'll keep that in mind. Let me move ahead to your casters, because that's pretty important. Okay, so you've got Waver, that's good, because that's really good for working with like Scatty. You could summon your friends, Scatty, use your Waver, use your Scath, that's good. Also, Waver is good with Buster, Quick Art, right? Doesn't matter, so it's useful for your other stuff. So Waver is really good for this account. I'm trying to go with Waver. What, Diet for challenge quests? Do you mean like not using him? But assassins are critting my berserkers to death, and even George can't survive for long. Well, if you're fighting, depends on what you're fighting there. But hey, thank you for the sub with the Twitch Prime. Cano Agito. I think it's Cano Agito. I think I got that. Anyway, thanks, man. I appreciate the support. What the hell was I saying? You know, if you're getting wrecked by like assassins, you know, if you're using George, you can give him a defense up CE, or you can use George and Mash and you know, shit like that. But if you don't have a good caster DPS, so I'm assuming that's why you're using Berserkers. Well, I mean, no wonder your Berserkers are instantly dying against assassins. You don't have any Berserkers that would be good at killing assassins anyway. The only max level Berserker you have is Lancelot, right? And Lancelot's not tanky at all. So if you're wanting to use, oh, you've got Jerker too, so that helps. I was gonna say Jerker's the way to go. If you want to use Jerker against an assassin boss, that would actually work pretty well. She's got the evade, and if you're working with Mash or Waver, that should work all right. Okay, anyway, let's see here. So for DPS caster, you don't really have one. Anastasia's AoE, and she's good for farming, but she's not really good for killing bosses, because that's what you've said multiple times on this account that you've had a hard time with that. Caster Skill is useful for just general support. It's good for your art units, and then you can do some damage. If you ever need to level a caster, though, to help fight assassin bosses, I would say level probably Babbage, because I'm assuming your Caster Coup is going to be a low NP rank. Now, if he is NP5, I would actually say Caster Coup, but if he's not, I would level Babbage. Between Babbage and Anastasia, that will really help deal with assassins. Like, it really, really will. And as for Berserkers, Jerker is definitely the best one you've got for fighting assassins. And then, honestly, if you level up Tamcat and get over skill upgrades and all that, I'd say Tamcat's pretty good too, actually. But you need to be leveled, obviously. But Jerker is the way to go. I think between Jerker, Babbage, and Anastasia, that should help you deal with assassins. And Anastasia's good for farming too. Okay, let's go back here. Alright, so... Archer... Well, you've got a Rosh for farming, that's good. Neat's in P1, and Imia's in P1, so I'm assuming Chloe's in P5. So Chloe is a very good DPS. I mean, she's super, super good. That's another reason to use Caster Gill. If you did like Chloe, Waver, Caster Gill against a Saber boss, that's very effective. Like Caster Gill can help Chloe loop quite smoothly, actually. So that's a very good combo, and you make a lot of stars while you're at it. So that's really good. So your Caster Gill is definitely worth investing in. And like you said, you're having problems with Assassins, so... so you have David, but you don't have the second skill leveled all the way, but at least you've got it leveled to 6, so that's at least something. So that's better than a lot of the accounts that we've seen. This account definitely needs David. This is not some super strong account. Like, obviously an account that's like really powerful, got golds everywhere, OP supports and stuff, you can get away with not using David very often, but this account's definitely going to need some extra help. That's another way to help you deal with Assassins is actually David. But yeah, get David's second skill to 10, that'll really help you out. Your Chloe's going to be doing really well though, and then you got Imia for AoE, you got Arash for AoE, so your archers actually look good. But you also have a Robin there on the way up, and so that's even more reason to level your Caster Gill. You've got a lot of art DPS so far, because your Hokusai is art, and Hokusai is very good, and this account could use that kind of thing, so all the more reason to level your Caster Gill skills. Alright, so right now your Scath is in P1, which is 2k Fode, and you might save up and try to get her again down the road, I'm assuming. I like to use NP gain, Miyu, non-MLB levels. Oh, you mean the CE, like the Miyu CE. I would not use that for the most part. It depends on what else you have. I have to look at your CEs, but you normally want damage for a unit like Scath. But it depends. If the enemy has Divinity, she'll have so much damage she won't need any help, and then going for the extra gain is fine. You don't always have to use a quick damage CE. There are other options, but we'll see what you got. But yeah, Miyu could be a good stand-in. Alright, what else we got though? So you've got Kua's backup, PFA's 10, that's good. So those, just Scath and Kua alone is pretty much most of your single target needs done. You got Crazy Eyes there as well. If you ever want to do more art stuff, it wouldn't hurt to level up her skill ranks to work with Caster Gill and Waver, but I wouldn't really put that as priority, especially because you like using Scath. For AoE, you have nothing, but that's pretty normal for Lancers. In my experience, I don't think Romulus or Hector is worth leveling on this account right now, so you're gonna have to get your AoE from like if you're fighting an archer stage, right, you're gonna have to use like Arash and Spartacus or something, because I just don't think it'd be worth the max right now to level the AoE archers. Only Ushi is Fode? Oh god, well that's rough. So we got Ryoma, Ushi. So this account's not even remotely ready for Demeter. If you fought Demeter down the road, you would have a very bad time. Ushi is good for Demeter though, so that's a start. And Ryoma's not particularly helpful, but he's something. I would, as I always say with accounts like this, I would level Alex. You don't, Medusa you can keep as is. She's good at low skill ranks, so you don't have to put mats into her. But I would get Alex up, I would just level him. And then I would not level his skills, really. You probably don't have the mats to spare, but just get him to 1-1-1, right? Do his buff quest and all that, get that stuff done. And then between Ryoma, Ushi, Medusa, and Alexander, you also got your Waver and such. You could probably beat Demeter with that. Like you'd have to maybe play around with what order they show up in, but you could probably do like Ushi, Alex, you know, then Canis dies replaced by Waver maybe, have Ryoma in the back as cleanup, something like that. The filler slot be Medusa. This account could probably do Demeter that way. And for farming, Medusa's already good for farming. She doesn't need to level up her skills to be good at that. She's fine as is, I would say. Not bad to get that George's first skill to 10 at some point. You probably don't have a lot of lures, but it is good to get to 10 for the extra defense buff and potentially looping the taunt and things like that, so it can be good. Maybe not top priority on this account, but something to think about. Is George worth prioritizing over Medusa? Yeah, he is, because Medusa doesn't need skill ranks, like I was saying. Where if you make George tankier, that can be good. Maybe level his second skill for the heal, if you're wanting him to live a bit longer. But your George is almost complete, so you don't need to do that much more. It would not... Okay, you got a good Hans. That's good, because your Hans and Waver can work together. That works well. Really, I would focus on Caster Gill. So far, out of everything I've seen on this account, the unit that I would really focus on is Caster Gill. He would just benefit a lot of your units. And then maybe Babbage to help you with assassins. You have to do Babbage's strengthening quests for him to really perform well, but it's worth the effort. Like you said, you have problems with assassins. That's just an extra thing. Okay, assassins here. So you have Woo, and because you like Scath so much, I would say level Woo. Unless you don't like Woo, which, I mean, understandable, but I'm assuming you don't mind Woo because you already leveled her some. So I would absolutely level Woo. Between Woo, Waver, and Caster, Gilgamesh, and things like that, it's worth it. Oh, you got Oki, too. That's really good. Honestly, you've got good stuff for Scath, because Oki's a pretty good quick support. You could do Oki with Woo. That works really well. You can use the Switch Mystic Code with Waver and things like that. So you have 3 good supports to really beef up Scath. And then if you summon a friend Scatty and you work all those in together, that can be a lot of good support for Scath. And hell, if you happen to have Poster Girl, I mean, look ahead if you have a CE picture. If you do have Poster Girl, that could help you cycle all those supports to both protect Scath and then keep the buffs going. Which would be really good, but I'm not sure if you have it or not here. It doesn't seem like it. I know you got a decent amount of apples, so that's good. You could always get Outrage. It's a taunt CE with Coup-Alter on it that you could get from the Rare Prism shop. That's another way you could, because you said you wanted to be able to like try to use Scath against Berserkers, right? That's an option. Okay, well for farming, I would level Spartacus. That might help this account out. And for dealing with assassins, just get your final skill on Jerker there to 10, and then get Babbage up. But yeah, leveling Woo would definitely be worth it on this account if you like doing Scath stuff. Other than that, though, let's see. So you've got Gray for AoE farming stuff, and then for single target, you have Carmella, and that is it. So Carmella is really good, but you're going to want another single target assassin. Well, if you leveled Woo, you could probably not deal. You'd probably be okay. If you ever need more firepower than that, though, I would 100 face. And you got, again, if you level Caster Gale, that works with it. But I think you could get away with not leveling another assassin other than Woo for a while. I feel like Woo, Gray, Carmella, Oki, that can get pretty far. And maybe you even level Fuma instead of 100 face just for the utility. And Fuma's already leveled some. But yeah, you don't have like a really good just general use DPS assassin for any situation, but I think Carmella's good enough with your support and AoE ones that it's okay. And so Carmella's in P2, everyone else is in P1. Let's see, let me look at Oki's in P, because you say you're thinking about picking her as your free 5-star. Off the top of my head, I don't feel like she gains enough from NP ranks for that to be worth it, but let me look. Although maybe there's just no one else that you particularly like, and if that's the case, then go for it. But let's see, where is the neat? There she is. Okay, her overcharge, it's more quick. No, wait, that's overcharge. The NP rank is more heal. The heal is bigger. I mean, it's okay. It takes it from 2,000 to 3,000. If you use her like all the time and you really like her, then you grailed her, so I guess you do. I mean, yeah, it wouldn't be bad to pick her for your free 5-star if you like her that much. There are definitely more boom for your buck picks out there, but if she's one of your favorite characters, then you might as well go for it. But yeah, getting like one more, NP rank's not the end of the world. But if it was me, I wouldn't do it. I don't normally, even if I like a support, I normally won't pick supports for things like that just because they don't gain a lot. But yeah, it's up to you, really. It's not. It's not like your account is in desperate need of anything, maybe other than a DPS caster, but you could get away with it if you wanted to. But yeah, I mean, the best advice I can give is level Woo, I would say. So you do need Asclepius. If you happen to listen to this account review in the near future, and for those that missed it, this is Vishi's account. I think that's how you say it. The caster rate up is coming, and you could get Asclepius, and I really do recommend it. You have no anti-debuff. I mean, you don't got anything. You don't have Martha, and so you're very susceptible to debuffs. Your only anti-debuff is like Medea's 3rd skill, and that's only for 1 unit, and it's a long cooldown, so that's not particularly useful. So Asclepius would be very helpful for this account. But if you really don't want to use the SQ, you don't have to. But the caster rate up is one of the more reasonable ways to get Asclepius. Is picking Enkidu from both 3-5 stars worth it if I don't have him at all? Absolutely. I mean, he's like one of the best Lancers in the game. And not only, so he can always do whatever you need a Lancer to do, but then he also has a bunch of use outside of that. He's so strong against Divinity that even if he's at class neutral, he's extremely good. And then he has a niche against Foreigners and other things that have threats to humanity. So, I mean, he is applicable more often than most DPS, and then when he is applicable, he's unbelievably powerful. He's one of the best DPS you could pick for Fluffy, right? And many other boss fights. He's good for every single boss fight in Lost Belt 5 too. I'm not kidding, he's good for every single boss fight in Lost Belt 5 too, other than I guess Masashi or something, but in all the gods, all the major boss fights, he's super good for. Yeah, he's great. Like, Enkidu is just easily one of the better units out there. Well, for CEs, what do you have here for Scath? Not a whole lot. Got some good CEs, though. That Anti-Berserker one will be good in the future. Yeah, I can see why you use the Miyu one, really. You don't have a whole lot of options. It's not limit broken, though. Sadly, looks like Formal or Aerial Drive's not limit broken either, because Aerial Drive would actually be fine on her, even though she's quick. Painting Summer is kind of okay. Sometimes you might use that. And you might want Painting Summer sometimes just because it has higher starting NP. But that Christmas event that comes up on NA soon, against the next one, you're going to really want to do that Christmas event, because it comes with a free Craft Essence that gives you full attack stat, and like at 50% starting NP, quick up, and like NP gain up or something like that. It'd be very useful for you. Alright, Mash would be so worth getting to 10-10-10. She's worth the lures. And the first one I would get is her first skill. Getting Mash's first skill to 10 is really good. It's more damage cut, it's more defense up. 9 to 10 is worth a double rank up, so that will really help stabilize keeping like George alive or whatever. And the cooldown is shorter. Sorry, I lost my train of thought there. Yeah, the cooldown being shorter. Like, while it's active, it's stronger and it's active more often. So yeah, it'd be really worthwhile. You have like no extra classes though, so. Okay, so Leonidas, you've got level, that's good. Because I was about to say, if you think you have trouble with assassins, you know, George is not a particularly good tank against assassins because he's a rider, so you could use Leonidas instead. However, you could do George with like, you've got that APOC Craft Essence, the Sunlight one there that gives 3-hit evade. You could put that on George and that'll keep him alive. You could also use the Caneth CD, you know, the one, you could use that one and that'll keep him alive for a few turns. So that's another way to tank against an assassin boss if you have to use George. And then you could use Mash for the defense up, and then Mash has a taunt, you know, stuff like that. Anyway, if you ever need any more help though with team comps, it just, you know, you send me a message on Discord or whatever, and just say what boss you're on or what you're trying to farm, and that, because I can't, it's hard, you ask for general team comp advice, and it's just hard to give that because it's so dependent on the circumstances. You know, the best general advice I can give is you've got a lot of good art DPS, so it's good to level your caster Gilgamesh's skills. That's like the best I got. All right, let's get to some London stuff here. Yeah, I wish that guy luck because he's wanting to use Scath against Saber bosses at some point, so that's a rough undertaking there. All right, we'll summon the 1 to 3 star account because we have no story support. We'll summon, I guess, Babbage, who for some reason is still not showing. I have no idea what's wrong with this account. I've checked my options on my main account, and for some reason this account cannot see Final Ascension art. I don't understand, and I literally checked the options menu, and I just copied exactly the settings that my main account has, so my main account can see Final Ascension art, but for some reason this one can't, and I've been trying to fix it forever, and I just can't. I'm not sure what the deal is. It's my only account that has this problem too. Give me 1 second here, I need to give Babbage a Craft Essence. We'll stick with 3 star CEs. Keep it reasonable for now. It could be the spoiler thing, but I've got the spoiler thing set to... Babbage's Final Ascension shouldn't be a spoiler, and I've got it set... My main account doesn't have the spoiler thing on, and again, I just copy-pasted the exact same settings my main account has, so I have no idea what's going on. I wish London was a more interesting singularity. It's a really good concept. Oh boy, this is a team right here. Alright, we need George, Bond, and we want Ushi, Bond, and I guess Stheno, Bond, just cause she needs the coins, I guess. 200,000, that'll be a while. Bringing 2 riders in the back is bad if we actually do die, but I'm assuming I can just blow through this like it's nothing. A lot of the execution in part 1 is just them being lazy. They didn't, commit to putting in a detailed story or, having, anything interesting happen. They're just very surface level, ABC stories. Not much character depth or character exploration or any of that. Yeah, Artoria ... indeed. Okay, I might taunt Chen Gong just because he's got the defense buff right now. Throwing the heal away, but it won't come back for 3 turns anyway. Just because of the deck shuffle. Yeah, I hope they use Lancer Alter in the future, because she basically has no character right now. And when she was first released, she had no character, like, at all. Like, because she was not used in the story, and her original bio has nothing in it. I mean, just nothing. They eventually added more to it, and she has a character material book that was made later. Wait, what kind of stage was that? Excuse me. Okay. Anyway, yeah, they eventually added all that like wild hunt stuff and so on and so forth in like the character material book, but her original use was so barren and it had no lore at all. Her voice lines are such a joke, like her My Room lines. And see how they see it is like they might as well put effort into characterizing new Artorias, like Castor Artoria, opposed to going back and fixing up Artoria Lancer Alter, right? Which is bullshit, but that's how it is. I don't get the point of that previous stage there. But yeah, Maid Alter has more in-depth voice lines and a bigger bio and more like, character than Lancer Alter, because they didn't give her anything, right? They did nothing. Like her My Room lines are just like, like totally filler dialogue that is super short and brief and doesn't describe anything. It's like, okay, great. Nice having this 10% battery though. Chen Gong's pretty useful even this early in the game. Especially if you were summoning, like if I was summoning like a Mordred, right? And she has a 50% starting in PCE, like many of them will have. So Chen Gong helps you get her NP right away. Between that and her own battery, you get really close. And hell, if she's got her passive, not even max rank, but she just has like the default passive, then you get you could get your NP turn 1. Because Mordred would have a 50% starting in PCE, 30% from her third skill, so we're at 80%, 10% from Chen Gong, that's 90%, and then 10% from the default passive, those are 100%. Nice and smooth. I wonder if I'll get to use Chen Gong's NP here. I need to roll FP so I get more Chen Gong copies, because he's NP 1, and if I just got him to NP 2, you get a really big damage boost, so that would be pretty fun. Yeah, Leo is really good with Chen, because you can do the guts thing if you want to, or you just have him die from taunting and have Guts go up that way, and then cycle him with Chin Gong. You have so many options, and then you give the team the attack up, the Buster up easily, and you can double taunt, all kinds of stuff. Because Chin Gong can taunt Leonidas, right? If you didn't get your NP, and then you use the skill taunt and so on. Like, it's a very, very good combo, and just a lot of damage for the team. And because Leonidas gives the team Buster up, that works with Chin Gong, who also gives the team Buster up. So you can do Leonidas, your DPS, Chin Gong. So totally good combo. I should level Leonidas on this account, actually, if we're going to use Chin Gong. Okay, I guess Hans gets to live because we can just do Babbage's NP, and I'm kind of curious how a 3-star Craft Essence Babbage does here damage-wise. His CE does, it's not even Ryoto Temple, so he doesn't even get damage on his NP. This is just basically no help from his Craft Essence. This is basically naked Babbage, if you will. He's not even getting like much attack stat. It's a 3-star Craft Essence and it's split stats, so it's mostly health. So didn't get much out of it there. Yeah, not bad, not bad. And if you could set up crits, you could do even more. Babbage is pretty good these days. Very loud though. Okay, I should really give him more starting NP, but I'm going to be lazy, and I'm not going to do that. Oh my god, why doesn't the game just start in Camelot? It'd be so much better. Or if they just made the early stories good, that would be even better still. Guess we taunt Bedivere to get the NP gain, and he's tanky, so why not? A lot of 2-wave main story quests right now. We'll fight Mordred pretty soon. Might be kind of a real boss fight for this account, we'll see. So I was saving Hans's NP for if I could do an art chain with Bedivere's art card, but we could do it anyway. So far, this account is lacking most of the key budget stuff, but it's because I haven't really rolled yet. I'm just waiting, but we'll roll soon on this account. Be nice to roll after London, maybe try to get Tesla or something, that'd be cool. Dude, the fog looks so bad. Why is it shiny? It looks like a balloon. Like, that doesn't look like fog, it looks like a goddamn, like, balloon. That's so bad. It's like, that is, like, default Unity asset or something, right? Like, that's just utter trash. Can't even imagine what led to that. Especially when the camera moves. Because when the camera moves, you can kind of see how it's like a physical object. It's like connected to itself, right? Like it's like, again, a balloon, right? It doesn't look like fog. When the camera's not moving, it's not as noticeable, but anytime you... It's just so easy to see that it's like a 3D object, right? Like, holy shit. Not great. Watch this Mad Star Jin. The lack of third skills on this account. Yeah, they haven't rated up Gajuna off memory since his original rate up, actually. It's kind of fucked up. Okay, we might be able to kill them both here. Just crit Bedivere. No, Ivan's had other rate ups. I know, because I remember him getting rated up at some point randomly and Tusk rolled on him, and that was after his original. Might have been the split rate up though. I'm not sure he ever got. I don't know if they were single rate ups or not. I don't remember. He certainly hasn't had as many rate ups though as like Gilgamesh or something like that. They need a rotating banner though. There's too many 5-stars in the game now that there's just so many 5-stars that just never get banners. And it's someone's favorite character and they'd be willing to whale on it or fish on it or dolphin on it or save up or whatever, right? So the fact that they don't have a rotating banner doesn't really make any sense. Because even if someone saves up and rolls free to play, that's still good for them because then they're lower on SQ, so they're more likely to, you know, fish or dolphin later. Because it sucks when there's you get into FGO late and your favorite character is like, you know, Iskandar from Fate Zero, right? That's totally some people's favorite character. And you see that he's got an animation update and everything, but then he just never rated up. It's like, what the fuck, man? Big Lubu. You know what? I think Darius is better, though. Yeah, we'll go with Darius. Do I give him starting NP? Yeah, I will. Going to lower his damage quite a lot. Again, Darius is supposed to be in Final Ascension, and it's not showing. I've got to figure that out, man. Sucks. I got in real lucky just at Fate Zero first collab, and got Iskandar my first 5-star. That's nice. That's so nice when you can just play the game from the beginning with one of your favorite units to kind of give you a base to kind of experience the rest of the game with. That's why I'm at least glad they do the free 5-star for new accounts now. So if you want to like just have Arturia from the very beginning and just experience the game with that, or you know whatever your favorite character, you know, Achilles or something, right? That's really nice. So I'm glad that they did that. The thing is, it's better for them. It gets people invested in the game. Like that's how you like you gotta bring in new players and make them happy to you know have a healthy player base and have veteran players. You need noobs to turn into veterans, right? And FGO is really bad about having a good new player experience, so I hope as time goes on, they put more effort into that. And hey Red, what's up? So, I'm not sure, legally, I'm not sure they can just randomly add limited stuff to the, it depends on how they marketed it. So with Arjuna and Karna, they used to be limited, and then they became unlimited, but when they released them originally as limited units, they said that they would add them later as unlimited units that you could get at any time. So, because you can't market something as an exclusive or limited, and then have it not actually be that, because then it's like false advertising. Now, what a lot of games do is they'll have fine print now where they'll say, this thing is being added limitedly for now, but may return in the same or similar way. And I think if they word it that way, then they're kind of allowed to do whatever they want. But I don't know if FGO did that for a lot of their older stuff, or if they even do that now, I'm not sure. So yeah, maybe they can do it if they wanted to, but it wouldn't shock me if they couldn't. Yeah, if they made it like, well, if it was a permanent event, maybe not, but either way, they could just do rotating banners, because rotating banners, like on the side, that aren't connected to the new, you know, whatever the new fancy event is, or the, you know, the stuff like the new story banners. So like a rotating story banner is still technically limited, because it's even if they return rapidly, it's still limited. Like, let's say Iskandar's available for a week every other month, right? That's still technically limited, even though it's not actually that, you know, bad waiting for it. So and a lot of other games do that now. When their pool of 5-stars gets large enough, they have like their typical, you know, focused rate up. That's like the news, you know, the brand new thing, the fancy thing, the new unit or whatever, right? Like summer units during summertime, blah 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 blah. But then they have a side thing going on all the time that they don't really advertise or anything, but there's just a rotating rate up on the side all the time. Like Epic 7 does that. Quite a few games do that now, and unfortunately, FGO is just always a dinosaur when it comes to these kinds of things, and they don't get with the program very quickly, generally speaking. Imagine, like, why couldn't they have announced that for the anniversary, right? Like, there's just so many things FGO could do to make the game better, and they just always refuse to do any of it, and it's, quite aggravating. Asking for rotating banner is being too greedy. Yep, that sounds like Famatsu right there. But, pretty much on all fronts, FGO is behind the times. And they could so easily improve. That's the thing. Some games, they fall behind the times, and it's such, like, core mechanical issues that there's no way for them to keep up with the new fancy, shiny games. But for FGO, their core gameplay is still fine. And their visuals are still fine, and so on and so forth. Not this fog, though. But anyway, because of that, they could keep up with the times no problem. They just have to make changes, and they just don't for some reason. And these stages are easier than the stages we were doing in Orleans, but they're probably just, you know, luring you into a false sense of security, because generally each singularity is harder than the previous one when it comes to 1.0. Not that the early stuff is hard, but you know what I mean. Yeah, the combat is still good in FGO. They make good boss fights and all that kind of stuff. Like, that's not the problem at all. It's everything else. It's the UI, it's the game philosophy, it's the general quality of life, lack of a safety net, you know, those kinds of things that really fuck it up. Alright, this must be Mordred. Still no story support. Your first story support is probably Mordred herself, so... we'll go with the 1 to 3 star account again then. I kind of want something a bit weaker though. I feel like 70 is still too strong. I could summon a Rosh. I feel like that's not much of a carry because he kills himself. And he is AoE, so I feel like that's fair. Like, a Rosh does do pretty good damage, but he's still a 1 star, so it's not as much damage as, like, Robin. That's not even his Ascension stage. He's set to be in stage 2. What the fuck? Although, no, his art is in Final Ascension, but he should be in stage... What is wrong with my... I can't... I don't know what the deal is. I can't... Like, I know there's options things to change this. It's just, I've changed them, so I don't understand why I still can't see Final Ascension. Okay. Actually, I am going to use Shenggong. Probably not going to use his NP though. Can't charm Mordred, unfortunately. And I don't have Divinity. I would bring Mash, but I'm thinking this will be good enough. Arash doesn't really need a buff. Like, sure, his second skill is not that good, but it doesn't matter what his second skill does. It matters what Arash does in total, and what Arash does in total is more than most units. That is not Mordred. That is a cool robot, but that is not Mordred. But for example, you know, Charlotte. All of Charlotte's skills look fancier than Arash's. All three of Charlotte's skills are better than Arash's second skill. Like, her first skill is better than Arash's second skill. Her second skill is better than Arash's second skill. Her third skill is better than Arash's second skill. But guess what? Arash is a better unit than her. By quite a lot. So it's like that's what I always talk about when people are like, oh, this skill is bad. It doesn't matter what a specific skill does. It matters what a unit does in their entirety. Now, that being said, Arash is good, but he's not so good that I'd be against him getting some kind of buff. But there's so many other low stars that need it so much more than him. I mean, Arash is fine. Like, he's a perfectly good unit. He's one of the most commonly leveled units in the game, for God's sakes. Meanwhile, you have all kinds of other units that are just utter garbage. Because, like, I saw that with Mordred all the time. People were like, Mordred's second skill isn't very good. And I'm like, what matters is Mordred's first skill combined with her second skill, combined with her third skill, combined with, you know, her NP effect and all those things. And in total, Mordred back then was really good because her third skill pulls so much weight. It's okay if her second skill is a bit lackluster. Could have done that to Arash actually with his defense buff, but this boss is going to be nothing. Charlotte is probably the one star that needs a buff the most. Although Matahari still kind of needs one because she's useful just from as a buffer, right? And she always was. It's just her recent buff basically did nothing. Like, it basically did nothing. It's just like Clown Meth's buff. You're not going to use Clown in that context very much, so it doesn't really matter, right? Again, like that's exactly that's the opposite side of what I'm talking about. It's easy to look at Matahari's buff and be like, oh, that's a really good skill because it's such a large number and everything. It's a good effect. And that's true, but it doesn't matter because there's other units with comparable effects with other toolkits that are like in their other skills and stuff that make them better in that role. So why would you use Matahari in that role? You're going to use Matahari for the defense down and you know, that kind of thing. You're not going to use her for like large star rate up and all that kind of stuff. It's not what she needs. It's not bad. It doesn't hurt Matahari, right? Extra effects are better than nothing. But it has a very negligible effect on, how do I put this? Like her overall performance. It didn't change, right? It's pretty similar to what it was before. Summer coup win, hopefully whenever the summer event is, but I guess we'll have to see. Is there any possible summer servant you would like to see? I mean, not really, because I don't really care that much about summer servants, and if they're good, it's almost because they're not much of a summer unit. Because some of the summer units that they make are, like, more serious. Like, and they have cool movesets and all that. Like Brunhilde. Summer Brunhilde is, you know, she's not just running around in a bikini, at least in her stage 2, right? Like, she's not a typical summer servant. So it's more about, like, if they do them well or not, right? You know, a summer servant could be cool, right? Like Martha's cool, cool punching and stuff, right? But there's no way to know that they would even do her that way. You know, inherently, I don't really care about the summer theme. I just don't, right? I don't care about bikinis or, you know, guys in trunks or whatever, right? I don't care that it exists as like side content. You know, it doesn't bother me. But it's not like the thing I'm looking forward to. Now, again, they may well add a summer unit. They're like, oh wow, look, their attack animations are awesome and or whatever, right? Or they're funny or what have you. But, yeah, it doesn't really matter too much to me. I just want Ku to get his Hawaiian shirt as a costume, for fuck's sakes. Technically not really summer-specific, but, it's so annoying that he has that in Fate Hollow and they've never used it this whole time. It's kind of messed up. Trying to get David's NP to overcharge Arash's, just for funsies. There we go. But, like, summer males don't ever happen. They just get costumes. And some people prefer that, and I kind of prefer that, then because you don't have to roll on them, and it's just a silly side thing. So I don't think silly side things need to be a whole new character, really. So I am totally fine with the males just getting the costumes, but you know, it's not a new character if that's what you're looking for, right? Recently I saw a guy on like discussing the people were just talking about like the summer events and all that, and he was like legitimately mad that only males get summer costumes and like none of the waifus do. That's pretty much how he put it. And I'm like, and what he was basically saying, because it was a bit more than that, like I get it, if you want like, you know, a costume for like just regular Medusa, that's reasonable. You know, there's nothing wrong with that, wanting like a summer costume for whatever your favorite waifu is. And you know, it's basically hopeless because it's always the guys that get the costumes. But what he was basically saying was, he wanted the new female servants for summer and females getting the costumes. That's what he was saying. It's like, that's not really fair there. There are people that like other characters, thank you. Like, ultimately, the best way to do it is to sometimes have new units of either gender and sometimes have new costumes of either gender, but probably not gonna happen, but I guess you never know. Alright, let's see what we get. So today's stream is going to be shorter because I started streaming late, and also I just feel really pooped today. I'm kind of out of it, so I don't think we'll go as long today, but I'll try to get some account reviews in, try to get some London done. I'm having a hard time, like, focusing on my words. I feel like I'm slurring all the time. Blah, 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 blah. That's what it feels like when I'm talking. Some days you're really with it, it's like you're ready to take on the world, or write a book or whatever. You're good and articulate and everything, and then some days it's just like, return to monkey. I think y'all get it, right? You don't have to be a streamer or a public speaker to know what I'm talking about, right? Sometimes you just have those days. It's like, okay. We're on chapter 2. Oh boy. I just want to fight Mordred at least, and then we can move on, but we're making it take a while. Returning to monkey is the dream. That's the C red press red, Huh. I brought a really unserious team. That's not the best. I didn't remember fighting Jack before fighting Mordred. I thought you fought Mordred first. Well, that could be bad. Uh-oh. I'll save my taunt. That'll actually be useful because she's single target. I keep getting the heal on turn 1. I couldn't possibly have lost any health on turn 1 yet. At least she's in stage 1. Thank goodness for that. I could art chain. Might as well. I doubt I need it to get Babbage's NP, but do it anyway. Which character from Fate Strange Fake do you want to see in F go? Honestly, just all of them. I love the cast of Fate Strange Fake. I'm not sure who. If I could only pick one, I don't know which one I would pick. They're great. I love Watcher and the Hassan. Okay, I can say the few that it wouldn't be, because I'm not hating on these characters at all. Some of these characters I'm about to name I actually like. I just like them noticeably less than like Jack, right? Jack in Fate Strange Fake is awesome. He's kind of a badass. But so the ones that I would not pick are the Zealot. And it's funny, I think a lot of people would pick the Zealot, but yeah, I would not pick the Zealot. I would not pick Pent's sister. No hate for either of them, they're totally fine. But there's no way I'd pick either of those. Oh, and the one character in Fate Strange Fake I really don't like is Avenger Hercules, because he's just bullshit OC fan-fiction, right? He reminds me of Oberon from, it's Vort, though. It's actually Vortigern, except it has nothing to do with Vortigern at all. It's like they had Archer Hercules in Fate Strange Fake for like 5 seconds, and that was awesome. We finally get normal Hercules. It's always just been crazy Hercules, but nope, just kidding. It's actually not regular Hercules. Now it's Avenger Hercules, and he's totally different, and he just feels like an OC. He just feels like, OC, please don't steal. And he's just so dumb. He's like the only thing in Fate Strange Fake I really don't like. And the writer of Fate Strange Fake even said that he did that because he didn't feel like he should be the one to write regular Hercules. So it was like an excuse. But I'm like, then why did you use Hercules at all, right? Then don't put him in the fucking story. But yeah, Avenger Hercules is just lame. I think he's just dumb. He reminds me of what a teenager would make. It's like, but what if Hercules was edgy and he could summon a Cerberus and he could steal NPs and he could throw the sun and you know that's literally what it's like a teenager designing Hercules. It's fucking retarded. So yeah, not a and what if he wore drapes? Unfortunately, that actually happened. But yeah, so not a fan of Avenger Hercules. I'm fine though with Zealot and Pimp Sister. I just don't like super hype them. So those three definitely not them. But Richard is awesome. You know, Richard the Lionheart. The Fate Strange Fake Hassan. We don't know what his like title is. We just know he's a Hassan. But they never said his title. So he's really awesome. Jack is awesome. Watcher is super interesting. I love the concept of Watcher. I would love to see Watcher in FGO because it's such a... I hope if they put Watcher in FGO that they would put the effort into them like they put into King Potato Chips, right? King Protea, for those who don't know, right? King Potato Salad. Because her gameplay is like nothing else, right? It's super unique. And it's tailored to her. The massive ramp up thing and all that massive HP, you know, that is so specific to her. Watcher deserves to be really unique like that. Yeah, Pale Rider, oh my god, Pale Rider's, I mean, who does? Pale Rider is so badass and like scary and crazy and cool, but then he's like taking care of Kiddo, right? Like he's awesome. So yeah, really, the Fate Strange Fate cast is just great. I can't wait for the books to be finished so we can, one, know how the story ends, because I love the story, and so they can actually be in FGO and other video games and so on and so forth, so. I see Hans did not land the attack buff for Babbage. Do I want to do my big crit on just the one art card? It's not really worth it. I think we wait, but I still want to NP. I'll save my Star Absorb. Save the crit up. Yeah, Pale Rider's Masters, it feels bad, man. Her parents are not so good. I need to read the early books again, because I thought she had like a terminal illness as well, on top of the bad living circumstances. But looking into it again, I don't think she does. I think I'm conflating that with something else. But I haven't read like the first 2 books of Fate Strange Fate in like 8 years or something, right? So I need to go back. Wait, what about Sigma? I suggest the books over the manga just because the books are a little bit more detailed, but the manga is fine. Like the manga has done a fine job with Fate Strange Fake. Gives you, visual reference and everything, and that's nice. But hopefully we'll get a new book soon. I just need to read Fate Strange Fake again because I'm having a hard time remembering. I remember all the parent nonsense stuff for Kiddo, but I can't remember if she's sick or not. Yeah, you see most likely male Musashi in the manga. Only a little bit though. Only one Buster card. The game is killing me right now. Why didn't I save my invulnerability for Jack's NP? Okay, here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna taunt Babbage so he gets the NP refund from Jack going burr. Do my NP gain buff then, which means I have to do my Star Absorb, so I kind of have to do all the fancy stuff now. Look at this 1 NP gain. Actually, if we have like 24.5, we actually might get 2. Yeah, we probably didn't actually get 2. It's just that we had like we were probably like at 4.8 or something like that, right? And then we got like 1.2, and that's why it looked like 2%. We don't know how many volumes are left, but he said the story's about halfway done, so we probably have a while. But it's hard to say, like, we'll just have to see. Yeah, I think we have a while to go. Well, even though I brought a really shitty team, Babbage is doing quite well as a DPS here. Also, the combination of like Hans's NP and Shen Gong's defense up, and then Babbage's invulnerability, and then Jack hitting like a bitch. We haven't really had any survivability problems. Dude, I actually really enjoyed that Hector fight when we had no counter class, and then the Demon Pillar. For early FGO, that was a pretty good time, actually, and I actually did get to think, use my brain, it was nice. I'm gonna do that quick card first, because I want the heal, just because I want to, like, finish the fight with more health. I have not read Fate Requiem. I read part of the first book, and then I read summaries and stuff, but I just don't like it enough, to be honest, to really, like, want to sit down and read it. I hate to say that, because I like Fate stuff, and but I don't know, I haven't really cared for Fate Requiem. Maybe, as the story progresses, it'll get better, so maybe I'll pick it up. Pick it up again when, like, it gets further, but I don't know. I don't care for, like, the writing style, and I don't like the main cast very much, and it's got some cool bits here and there. I don't like hate it. I think it's better than Septum. I'll say that, but it's certainly not one of my favorite Fate stories. I feel like, and it's hard to write. It's hard to write a story like Requiem, like that large scale of a story. That's very hard to write, and I just don't think the writer is really nailing it. Like, I think, like, Fate Strange Fate is another story that has a huge fucking cast and is, really, ambitious undertaking. But I think that writer does a much better job with it. Like, he's much better at, even if a character only gets a bit of screen time here and there, he's really good at flushing that character out and making them not feel like a two-dimensional thing. And he just does a good job with the story and the flow, where Requiem just feels like kind of like a mess to me. And it feels, I don't know, just the premise is kind of weird, and it just hasn't been my cup of tea. But who knows, there's not that much. There's only like 2 volumes of Requiem out right now, right? 2 or 3, so. I just bit my lip fucking hard. Yikes. I want to check on that there, Red. When do we fight Mordred? Damn. Okay, we're gonna do some cope scope here. 4th account, are you kidding me? We have way more than that. Oh, way more than that. I just don't play them very actively, right? Like, I only play a few accounts at a time. I kind of rotate what account I play based on what we want to do. But I have way more than 4. Some of them, though, are just so inactive. Like, I don't play NA much at all, right? Like, I only play NA occasionally. There's a fan translation of Fate Strange Fate. And it's a very good one. It's like very high quality. It's way higher quality than most of the other fan translations out there. There's like some people from Beastslayer that like, there's a PDF of the book, right? And the books that you can read, but there's also people on Beastslayer that always like do translations for like key stuff. Like, if you're impatient and you want to know like what happened before the full translations come out, right? How you doing there, Red? Are you seeing Red? Yeah, there's my main account, there's my typical alt account, which is like the Gilgamesh Achilles one, then there's NA, and then, oh my god, you guys have no idea. There's the Herc one, there's the Stheno one, there's the 1 to 3 star one, and then there's that solo one that's like Gwaine, right? There's that one, and there's actually another one that I've never streamed ever, but I don't really use that for anything. Yeah, there's a lot, but still not as much as Arjuna. If we had story replay, I could cut out though like half of them. Like, straight up, I wouldn't need like that Gwaine account and all that. I wouldn't need any of that stuff if we had story replay. It is fun though to play through the game from time to time, just to like kind of get your bearings again and see what the new player experience is like, so on and so forth. Did we crash? I feel like we crashed. Yep, I think it crashed. Okay, hold on. Does not happen often. Dude, Fate Strange Fake anime, please get like, just don't fuck it up. I'm so worried they'll give it like a bad budget, or bad time frame, not enough episodes, no break between 12 episodes or whatever, right? They'll just I take your time. Don't just rush it out the door, right? I seriously, if a lot of people get frustrated when anime takes a break to like catch up on animation, you shouldn't be, because in the long run the anime is way better, right? And Fate Strange Fake, wherever we get, we're gonna be stuck with forever. So I want it to be so good, right? I want it to have a big budget, good studio. You know, after 12 episodes, I want them to take a break. And if they have more episodes after the next 12, if they take a break again, do it, right? Take as much time as you need. Just make the damn thing good. Yeah, I want Brains Base to do it as well because they're just good. I think they're a good anime studio. Now, they're small and they don't have like a huge staff. So a lot of times, like, they don't animate like super awesome fight scenes, but when they do take on bigger projects from time to time, a lot of times they'll just hire more staff temporarily. And so if they got a big budget from like Type Moon and everything, they'd need to hire some staff, you know, for the fight scenes and everything. But that's fine because they are definitely the anime studio that I trust the most for like doing a good adaptation when it comes to characterization and like because they did the adaptation for Spice and Wolf. And they did a very good job with that. And they've worked, the guy that writes Fate Strange Fake, you know, he did Bakuno and Durarara, and Brains Base did the adaptation for both of those. And they did a really good job, right? They did, and that is such a hard thing to adapt. Bakuno and Durarara are both super hard to adapt, right? And they did really good. They did super good with it. So I would trust them to do well with Fate Strange Fake. My only worry with them doing it would just be the fact that they don't, you know, they're not a very, like, luxurious studio, right? They don't have a lot of money. So they would need the publisher, you know, like Type Moon or whatever, you know, sponsors them to give them a big budget. Because Fate Strange Fake would definitely require a big budget. And that's what worries me, is that you know, whoever they look to hire to handle the anime, they're gonna look to just some big name, you know, that's got, you know, the money and like the reputation, but that doesn't mean that studio is actually going to adapt it very well. Because, like, you know, Ufotable makes really pretty stuff and they've got the budget and everything, but Ufotable, I do not particularly like the way that they handle like characterization and stuff. I think the way they've adapted some of like Fate and stuff, I think they kind of fucked it up in some areas, and I'm not like particularly happy with how they did it. So although they look pretty, I really wouldn't want them to do Fate Strange Fake, to be honest, and I wouldn't want like A1 to do it or anything like that. I mean, A1 sometimes does a really good job, but you know, it's like Russian roulette if it's going to be good or not, and I wouldn't want to deal with that. But yeah, I do feel like it's more likely that they would pick Ufotable or A1 because that's just like the safe bet. You know, like they'd have to do their research and, you know, take a risk and to look into other studios, which I think they're not going to bother doing that. Hey, look, I got the heal on turn 1 again. Real theme here. Cloverworks is a mixed bag in my opinion. I've seen them do good stuff, I've seen them do bad stuff. I really wasn't crazy about the Babylonia adaptation though, to be honest. I think, you know, it was animated decently competently, and some of the changes they made were good. I do think some of the changes they made were absolutely good, but okay, how do I put this? I think Babylonia, to be a really fleshed out standalone story, needs a lot of like changes to really flesh out the characters and like change the pacing and stuff, and they didn't really do that. That's not really their fault. It's kind of just like the way Nasu wrote it in the first place, right? But like, for example, here's a really good example of kind of this goes throughout the whole thing. This isn't just this scene, but this is an example of the problem I have with the Babylonia anime. Look at Fate Zero and how it introduces its characters, right? They use their screen time really well, where they introduce the characters, they give you scenes that both characterize the servant and the master and also develop the plot. They do such a good job with that. And that's not Ufotable, that's like the story of Fate Zero, right? Like the scenes with Waver and his Kandar talking do a great job of giving you some context about what the fuck a Holy Grail War is, and then also showing what kind of person his Kandar is, and how, there's more to him than just being like the big, you know, boisterous, you know, king, right? You get that pretty quickly. You get the how he's wise and all that as well, and you see the problems that Waver has, and you get that really quickly. Right, and not only that, but it's not one scene. It's not like there's one scene to characterize his Kandar, and then he just has his big fight scene and then it's over. Right, like his Kandar is characterized multiple times throughout the story like that, and as are the other cast members. Babylonia doesn't do that at all, right? Like you've got that one scene in like the inn where you've got Benkei, Leonidas, and Ushi. They each get like, you know, 10 seconds to just be a vague archetype. It's like, hey, I'm establishing my persona, and that's it. right? And then a lot of them don't get a lot beyond that, right? They just get like here's the thing, Ushi is not a two-dimensional character. Leonidas is not a two-dimensional character. Benkei is not a two-dimensional character, but they feel like two-dimensional characters in Babylonia. Maybe with the exception of Ushi, because Ushi is popular and was like the only one that got any fucking screen time. But they did not get their characters flushed out and explored like we know that their characters, like their character has more to them, but the anime, like in that end scene, again, it's just like really quickly establishing their personas, and that's like it. You know, just like boom, 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 I'm this archetype, I'm that archetype, I'm that archetype, and then there's not much else of them until their big fight scene, and for Leonidas, then he dies, right? And that's kind of it. That's kind of just the principle of the Babylonian anime throughout the whole thing. It's kind of shallow like that. And it's because the actual story is kind of shallow like that, and the actual story has an insane amount of filler. Like Babylonia in the game has an insane amount of filler. So they cut out a lot of that. Well, they kept a lot of it too. But then the other issue I have is just like they made changes that were good. Like I think like fleshing out Ushi's fight scene, you know, because in the visual novel it's just like, hey, this sprite shakes and this sprite shakes and it's over, right? It's shit. You know, fleshing out some of the fight scenes like that was good, like with Leonidas and Ushi especially. And so that was a good change, like absolutely, and it was logical. They didn't break anything, right? Like they didn't make up lore. Like what Leonidas does is all lore accurate to his character. So they and if anything, they actually did more research there. Like they understood the counterattack aspect of Leonidas and everything with the spear throw. Like good job, they did a good job there, right? That was some nice adaptation. But like some of the changes they made were just dumb. Like with Benkei, that was fucking stupid. Like, for those that don't know, Benkei is supposed to be the one that takes out Corrupted Ushi, because that's his NP actually has an effect that should be able to like purify Corrupted Ushi and destroy her, right? That's like he's always had an NP like that. And obviously character arc wise, you know, that makes sense that, you know, he's connected to her and everything, and like of course he should be the one that takes her out. And he, again, canonically has an NP that can do it. And that's his only really big moment in all of Fate, right? So it's not just that one scene, but like in I guess it is a visual novel, the game, in Fate Grand Order, the game, there's a scene with Benkei defending a random village from Tiamat's kids, and then you know, he gets ganked by Corrupted Ushi, and they kind of make you think he dies there, but he doesn't, and then he comes back, you know, heavily wounded for the final fight though, and he uses his NP to deal with Corrupted Ushi, and that's like his big moment, right? That scene with him defending the village, it's not in the anime, and then he doesn't take out Corrupted Ushi. He doesn't even use his NP. Like, you don't need me to tell you this. Like, Benkei never used a Noble Phantasm in the Babylonia anime, right? That's pretty fucking lame. And yeah, he never uses it, and they have Quetz kill Corrupted Ushi, which doesn't really even make sense, because their NP doesn't really work in a way that should defeat Corrupted Ushi in her entirety. That with the way Corrupted Ushi works, it just doesn't make any sense. And they just did that because, you know, they wanted Quetz because she's a waifu to, you know, get some glory, and, you know, they felt like that was a better way to, you know, use the screen time. But it doesn't make any lore sense, doesn't make any character arc sense, and it just sucks for Benkei fans, because Benkei's never ever had another cool moment, and he's never even used again, really. And yeah, they fucked it up. So there's just a lot of little things I don't really like about the Babylonia anime. A lot of it's not their fault, though. A lot of it is just Babylonia itself has so much filler and has just got, you know, kind of bad pacing and doesn't really respect some of their own lore very well. That's Nasu's fault. That's not really their fault. But I think there are some ways that they could have characterized Leonidas and Benkei throughout the story more like Fate Zero did, giving them more scenes of talking and just exploring what they are as a character. And they just, I don't think they use their screen time very well, right? And it still feels kind of ABC, like, you know, FGO does sometimes. You know, I would have liked to have seen them make more changes to make it a more proper story, if that makes any sense. And they did make some, and some of those changes were good, but then they did stuff like, you know, cutting out Benkei for some reason, and that was pretty lame, so it's kind of back and forth. So it's not, I don't think it's a terrible adaptation, because I do think Babylonia was a pretty pretty difficult thing to make an adaptation of. But it's not the best either. And also they cut out all of Tiamat's characterization, which that was a pretty big mistake in my opinion, because Tiamat is a pretty major lore figure, and there is more to her than just blah, right? But they cut all of it, right? She's just generic bad guy. She's literally generic brainless bad guy, when they actually give some like insight to what's going on with her in the game. That, you know, gives her, it kind of expands on her backstory in a way that it's like befitting what Tiamat is in real legend and stuff. And the fact that that's absent in the anime is just kind of disappointing. Because there's Tiamat fans out there, absolutely. You know, and the fact that like she has some lore that they gave you in the game to kind of make her, you know, more interesting and kind of tragic, right? How she's actually trying not to be a villain and she's trying to, you know, hold her body back and all that kind of stuff. That's something, that's a, you know, if you care about Tiamat, that's some pretty, you know, important characterization there, and it's not even hinted at in the anime, right? Not even hinted at. So yeah, that kind of sucks. Yes, we exist indeed. But yeah, maybe we'll get Tiamat and Efko again, and they'll be more explicit about, you know, her not being just a generic bad guy. The one good thing about I've only seen like the first Camelot movie, but you know, the second one just came out, so. But the one good thing about it is the Arash scene was pretty good, right? They actually put effort into that, and some of the talking scenes with Arash just throughout it were fine. Like Arash, that basically I didn't really care for the Babylonia movie. It was kind of dumb, and there was a lot of changes that were just stupid, and I don't think the pacing was particularly good, and the fight scenes were awful. Oh my god, the fight scenes were awful. But almost everything with Arash was good. Arash was great, and his voice actor is awesome. But oh my god, that movie was not great. Those fight scenes were terrible. Like, oh my god, Bedivere versus Gwaine was just so bad. Like, that was so bad. It's so short. The outcome makes no sense. Like, in the game, Bedivere is supposed to lose, and of course he is. It's Bedivere versus Gwaine. Like, hello? But for some reason, Bedivere wins in the fucking anime. It's ridiculous. Let's see here. Do I heal Shingon? I mean, there could be more assassins, so yeah, I guess. Yeah, Gwen with the sun buff. Yeah, he's canonically what's supposed to happen is, you know, whatever vague servants the player character has is supposed to be there, but you can't really do that in an anime, so you can discount that. But it's supposed to be Bedivere, Mash, and Leonardo da Vinci against Gwaine, and Gwaine wins, and you have to retreat. That's what happens. But that is not what happens in the anime, and I don't even know why. I don't know what they gained out of making making Gwaine look like a bitch like that. Did anyone else feel like Gwaine and Hercules both just get so fucked over by all the anime out there? Because like they're both so overpowered, right? And they're just so like, they get plot armored constantly, because if they don't get plot armored, you can't beat them with a lot of like the bitch cast. Like obviously they're defeatable by certain like Karna and shit like that, right? But they're both so like, you know, strong armed servants, and they're not particularly popular. They're kind of popular, but not super popular. They just get absolutely bitch slapped all the time by the plot. And anime has just been especially unfavorable to them, because like the games don't have to explain how on earth did you beat Gwaine in Fate Extra, right? They don't have to explain it. It's gameplay, right? And then Herc is obviously loses a lot, but in the visual novel they do because Herc is supposed to be so OP. The visual novel went through great lengths to like articulate, you know, how like unfair the circumstances were to Hercules and how powerful he is. And generally most of the things, you know, like he's stronger than Saber Alter. It's just she has the Grail on her side helping her out, and then the Shadow is nerfing Hercules, right? So it's like, it's really clear how unfair the circumstances are to Hercules, right? And she doesn't even take out all of his lives to begin with, right? And that's how most of the scenes are for Hercules, where the anime never makes it seem that way. Like when he fights Artoria in the graveyard, in the visual novel, Artoria never lands a blow on him, and when she uses Strike Air, it bounces off of him and it doesn't do anything, because it's not high enough rank to get their God Hand. Where in the anime, it fucking kills him, right? It just makes him look like a bitch. You know, literally that graveyard scene in the visual novel makes Hercules look like a badass, and in the anime, it makes him look like a bitch, right? And it tries to make Artoria look like the badass, right? And this is a real problem. It's not just the anime studios, it's Nasu too. Nasu is terrible about this, and I think there's a lot of evidence about like what the other writers have said, like with Case Files, with him like, you know, changing and the identity of Medea's master and having it not be consistent with and stuff like that. Nasu is like, he cares about like what's relevant now, what he likes now. So with the new character he wants to hype up, he'll make them stronger than the past character and kind of forget about how he felt about that past character back in the day. He's that kind of writer. It's like Dragon Ball Z, you know, the current thing always ones up the past thing, and the past thing is not respected in whatever its original abilities were, right? It just doesn't matter, right? Nasu is really bad about that kind of thing, right? And so, you know, like, Hercules is old and not relevant, and so he just gets used as like an example to make someone else look like, you know, like, oh, look how awesome they are, right? Like, all the time. And, you know, the new anime adaptations and stuff kind of just fall in line with that kind of thing, and, it kind of sucks, right? It kind of sucks. And that kind of, you know, storytelling has been very unkind to Gwaine and Hercules, you know, even though, like, on paper they're just so OP and busted. Worf effect. Yeah, anyone that knows Star Trek, exactly. You can't have Worf just throw the mysterious alien off the ship, because then the plot can't happen, right? So the mysterious alien has some, like, force field and sends, you know, Worf flying across the bridge. I mean, how many times does Worf get just wrecked in Star Trek, right? He never really accomplishes anything, even though he's, like, you know, supposed to have, like, all, you know, all this experience, and, you know, he's an alien species that's stronger than normal, right? And all that other stuff. But it never amounts to anything. Alright, final wave here. Look at that skill animation with Babbage's hand and Siegfried's face there. It's pretty silly looking. Like, Babbage, please. Siegfried's got to be able to see. Well, you could say that all the times Worf just tossed the alien off the ship, the episode didn't happen. That is true, but it's still, the audience doesn't see that, though. You know, the audience just sees what you show them, so to them it's just Worf's a bitch. Like, that's all, you know, good and fine for, you know, it's like Nasu said that, you know, Gilgamesh, you know, kills, you know, everybody in more timelines than not, right? And, like, you know, Unlimited Blade Works is like a miracle route for Shiro. But you don't see those routes. You don't see any of that. So it's like, if you don't see it, it basically doesn't exist. There's a saying for that. It's like, what the audience doesn't see might as well doesn't exist. There's like a more fancy, artsy, fartsy way to say it than that, but it's true. Like, you know, the audience gets what you show them. When do we fight Mordred? I don't even. I know you fight her at some point, but apparently not now. I would actually say, though, the Worf effect is more merciful to Worf than Fate has been to Gwaine and Herc, right? Like, they just straight forget how they're supposed to work. I mean, literally, look, I'm sorry. Last Encore is a joke, right? That is so badly written. It's so fucking bad. So Gwaine, in all of his appearances in Fate Extra, and Fate Grand Order, and Fate Extella, and the character material books, you know, his NP is always this giant, its whole thing, it's Excalibur, basically, but even larger blast radius, but then it's, like, less damage per area, but it's this giant, you know, AoE of just a massive blast radius, right? That's its thing. It's this really big blast radius NP. It's like, it's super noted as just being way larger of an AoE than, that's its bonus. That's what's unique about it, is it's a much larger blast radius than most NPs. And it's always shown as such. It's always shown as such. You know, lots of fire. And then when he fights Nero on Fate Extra, obviously she would have no way of surviving that at all. So for some reason, it's just all of a sudden a generic beam, like regular Excalibur. Just for some reason. But what's stupid is, it's not like from that point on, Gwaine's Excalibur has now always been shown to be, it's like, oh, it's been retconned, and now it's like regular Excalibur. It's not. You know, in Extella Link, and in F-Go still, and in the Camelot movie, and all, it goes right back to being a giant-ass AoE again, right? It's like, it's just stupid. It just conveniently changed to a different effect. I would say so Nero could conveniently survive, but the funny thing is, even with them changing how his NP works, Nero still shouldn't have been able to survive, right? Like, how is she's literally blocking a Noble Phantasm with her hands. Like, what the fuck is that, right? And then she falls into a hole, and somehow that means she survives, right? That is just that's so plot armor. I mean, that is that Nero versus Gwen in Fate Extella. I'm sorry, in Fate Last Encore is textbook plot armor. That is just absolute textbook plot armor. Like, what an absolute joke. I feel sorry for someone whose first Fate work is Last Encore. Honestly, it's probably better if it's their first Fate work, because then you don't realize how fucking stupid it is being constantly, right? Because you don't know the rules yet, you haven't seen those characters in the past, you haven't seen it, so there's no continuity, right? You're just like, oh wow, this Nero person is certainly strong. She can, Gwen's NP isn't anything other than just some generic anime special attack, right? It doesn't you don't realize how high ranked it is. You know, you don't know what that means. You don't have the context of other servants having absolutely no way of blocking an NP like that, right? Like, you know, because if you already have seen other Fate stuff, you know, like an A+ NP, a servant can't block with their hands unless they have like a special ability or something, right? Like, or a shield or what have you, or at least battle continuation or something, right? But even then, you know, like, you know, even Lancelot, you know, when he gets hit by like the chariot, it's not like the full front of the NP, and he's still super fucked up, right? So it's like, if you've seen other Fate works, I actually think Fate Encore is worse. If it's your first thing, then you just enjoy the characters, like, oh, this Nero person's cute and she beats everybody, that's cool, right? So you might have that kind of experience with it, right? Where if you've seen other Fate works, I think it's just an absolute shit show. At least she got her ass kicked by Saber at the start, which is completely... There's no world where Nero could ever beat Saber. Although, actually, there kind of is, because in Fate Extra, you know, everyone beats Saber, no matter who you pick. But it's because you're the main character. But also because Saber wants to lose in Fate Extra. It's plan. He wants to lose. He's trying to teach his master a lesson. So he wants to, like, you know, make it seem like he's trying, but he wants to actually lose. Where, you know, presumably in Last Encore, that's a timeline where he didn't want to lose, and he just beats your ass, and, you know, it is what it is, because, I mean, Saber is an absolute top-tier servant. I mean, he's like top 10 most powerful servants, in my opinion, at least normal servants, and there's no world where you could beat him with any of the playable characters in Fate Extra. Like, Nameless is the most capable, because I'd say Nameless is the strongest of the 3 playable characters in Fate Extra by a lot. I think he's way stronger than the other 2, and also he's a counter hero. And so if you're not an anti-hero, excuse me, Emiya is an anti-hero, and if you are an anti-hero, Buddha's like aura, you know, if you're anywhere in the vicinity of him, your stats will be lowered by 1, and that's bad. But if you're not an anti-hero, your stats are lowered by 2. That's a lot worse, right? So I mean, Nero, good blood. Let's look at Nero's stats. Let's look at Nero's stats right now. So Nero has D strength. So when she is in the presence of Buddha, her strength is lowered by 2. So it goes down to F. Right, like it goes down to F. That's like what are you gonna do here, right? Like that you have like no strength at that point. Her endurance is D rank by inherently, so that goes down to F. And then so her agility is A, so that's pretty good, but that goes down to C. That's not that good anymore. So she's FFC. That's pretty bad. You know, her mana goes down to D. That's terrible. Her luck goes down to C. I mean, that's just such a shit servant at that point, right? And then Nero's NP is not particularly powerful, especially compared to what Buddha has. She could never win. The only way she could win is if Buddha throws, which is what happens in Fate Extra. Again, he literally wants to lose. It's part of his plan to lose, but presumably, again, not in Last Encore. So she could never, ever beat Buddha. Like, it's absolutely impossible. But for Emiya, his stats don't get drained as much. They only get drained by 1 stat instead of 2. And then presumably Emiya could, you know, augment his stats by tracing items, you know, the right item that can boost your stats and such. So he could offset it. And then Emiya just has a good toolkit, very versatile. You know, unlimited blade works and all that's really powerful. That being said, I still don't think he could beat Saver, because Saver essentially has, you know, just, you know, super like artillery spam, laser nonsense. He has top tier defensive martial arts. He's got his EX rank Noble Phantasm, like soul attacks you, enlightens you, pretty much takes you to Nirvana. There's normally no way you're gonna. There's not. Amy has got nothing to defend against that, like at all. It'd be a very uphill battle for Emiya. But Emiya at least has maybe some kind of chance, where Tam and Nero don't have even the slightest snowball chance in hell. Although if the plot is on their side, then they can beat anyone, but that's always how it is. Okay, well, I know it's been a really short stream, and I really hate to wrap up, but I am just pooped today. My brain is mush. Like I said, I am returned to monkey today. Like, I just want to, like, go, like, you know, play a video game and, like, just be so unskillful. Like, I might use Merlin if I was farming right now. Like, we might be at that level, right? You know, I'm blah, 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 blah today. So, today is a good day to just take a break, I think, and chill a bit. Let's see if Cairo is still streaming, because if he is, we will raid him. He's trying to get partner, and he's, like, really close to getting it. So we'll try to give him some hype here. He's still streaming. Okay, so what I'm going to do before raiding him, I'm going to link to his channel the normal way, because if you raid somebody, it doesn't actually like benefit them towards getting partner, which is dumb, but it is what it is. So I'm going to just link to him in chat here, so if you don't mind, just click the link and go to his channel that way. Cairo's awesome, really good F-Go streamer, and here I'll raid him after though. But yeah, please just click the link, hit him up that way. And if you're not following him, please follow him, because following is what helps people get partner. It's so fucked up that Cairo doesn't have partner yet, so I hope he gets it. He's up for like review, like right now. Anyway, boys, I'm out of here. I will see you all later, and probably tomorrow. Peace.